Well, anyway, welcome everybody to, wow, it's been a minute. We haven't done a tech commute in a little while, and now we're in video. This is great. Oh, wow, we already got people here. That's great. Who we got? We got Chris DeMars. Do you know Chris over at DigitalOcean?
Chris DeMars?
Yeah.
Chris DeMars?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's famous.
Greatest guy. And we got Richard. Richard's here, good buddy of the tech commute. But more importantly, we have our friend Gant. Gant. Chris is screaming, Gant, 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 Gant. Look at that. I love it.
I love it.
Well, welcome. It's been a while since you and I chatted, but why don't you introduce yourself to the peoples? And I'll get you a link here.
Well, so I'll tell you this. I know a lot of people in tech. Hopefully we've crossed paths at some point. And if we have, you've seen me at a different stage in my journey. But if you haven't met me yet, currently I am a CIO of a fantastic company called Infinite Red. This is the place I've always been meant to join and build. It was 3 companies all came together to form the one in 2015, become the best React Native consultants in the entire US. And we do it all for React Native. We do the podcast, the newsletter, the conference, which several people have spoken at, including Chris. And it's a great group of people. We only hire seniors who are really good at consulting gigs. And then also, I gotta say, in my spare time, I'm digging into technology like I'm still a kid. I wrote a book on AI. I do a lot of talks about React Native and AI on mobile, all kinds of different mixes, things that are like really cool. I like to think of myself as a little bit like a mad scientist. And I just love sharing, oh my God, all this graybeard information with people who actually want to listen or find out cool things that I've learned along these 2 decades of technology.
2 decades?
I'm old, man. I'm old. I started so hard in high school. Like, my dad hated computers. He brought a computer home. I made it say, "Hello, Gant." It was game over. I was this is my career. And my dad's like, "So what are you going to be?" I was like, the guy who makes computers say stuff. Like,
I'm going to be the computer, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a computer. I don't understand it well enough yet, but I think I can do it. That's fantastic. So two decades. I mean, I pegged you for like 28, so my math's a little off. But
got the Steve Martin, you don't know how old I am kind of thing going.
I love it. Ageless. It's ageless. So where does that put us? And was this high school? Like, tell us a little bit more about where the journey went from that first kind of hello Gant moment.
Okay, let's get some old people in here. So I had to go ahead and join bulletin boards, AOL chat rooms. I love this stuff, man. It was such a fun time. And then people were able to like kick me out of chat rooms or run like quizzes and stuff. I was like, how are they doing this cool thing? How are they typing so fast? And I found out they were all doing Visual Basic, but I had written my Hello Gant in Basic, QBasic. I was like, that's it. So I got, just like everyone else, a very registered and legal copy of Visual Basic Studio 6, along with a very legal copy of Adobe Photoshop and many other things.
Wink, 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 wink.
Bought myself a Sam's Teach Yourself Visual Basic in 24 hours book. Fun fact, those 24 hours are not consecutive. It took me a month to read. And then next thing I know, I'm writing like little goofy apps. Some of my favorite first apps. I found out how easy it was to send stuff to the printer. So I would install this app that would wait a while, and then it would start printing "I'm a printer, feed me paper" on each page, and then spit it out, and then keep doing it so that like their printer constantly just used all their paper with writing that on it. Because like this is how we joked with each other. I did make like a little animal run across the screen every so often and like mess with their desktop and stuff like that. And then I went to college for computer science, man, which was the biggest waste of money possible.
Wow. Spicy take. Okay.
Yeah, it really was. If I take a look at like I said, consider my company Infinite Red. Mm-hmm. We are very well represented as the React Native experts. We have Fortune 100s asking us how to do things in React Native all the time. I think I'm in a short list of like 2 or 3 people at the entire company that has a college degree. And then even in that list, I think I'm probably the only one of the 2 that has a computer science degree.
Okay.
Not worth it.
No. Well, it's interesting because obviously this is like an age-old discussion.
Oh yeah.
Like, do
And it's
you
changed.
do it yourself or do you get the degree?
So think about how jobs used to work and how college used to work. College used to be worth it financially. You would spend a certain amount of money and then you were guaranteed to make that money back for all of college in like the first 2 years. It was a stable investment. The investment was your time and energy, not the financial. Look at people
Mm,
now. They're spending 4, 5 years in college trying to go ahead and get these degrees, and then they're coming away with multiple years of senior level salaries in debt that
yeah.
they're paying back forever for a job that the person sitting right next to them didn't go do that. Now, let me get this 100% clear. If you want to be a researcher, if you want to get grants, if you want to really dig into stuff, you have to find the smartest. And a lot of times they either work at universities or they work at large companies. And then you have to surround yourself with them and it'll push you forward. You can go, if you want to go PhD and you want to dig deep into a whole new technology to like lead it, yeah, maybe you should. But just getting the bachelor's, not getting the master's and the PhD beyond that, um, you're really not going to get any kind of benefit from that, especially in this industry.
Hmm.
And the jobs tomorrow also aren't being taught at colleges.
Mm.
Constantly, Jamin and me, we're getting called into colleges to tell them what they should be teaching the kids so that way they have jobs when they get out. It's totally new.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, I feel like what you just said there, as far as like not finishing through or following through the continuing education from
Mhm.
bachelor's to master's to PhDs is it parallels any education. It parallels any learning or experience, right? Like if you just scratch the surface or you get that entry level, you're not
Mhm.
mastering it. You're never going to be that
Yeah.
upper epsilon. But how
Yeah.
does one do that then?
Well, what's
Like,
funny about it is like this is different from jobs. Technology is completely different. So let's say that you wanted to become a plumber. The size of pipes in the US have not changed. You know,
hmm,
it's a craft taught. They have a master plumber and they have apprentices, and they're teaching them almost basically based off of their mind with information that they've known for the past 30 years, the experiences that they have. So if you want to become an excellent plumber, then yeah, it is fantastic. You should actually maybe go to a trade school, come on out of it, find somebody to be an apprentice under, and really learn. The real issue I have with, and I warn people when they want to jump into technology, is that the jobs you're going to want, the positions you want, the information you have, it ages like ice cream. It really
mm,
isn't going to be fantastic tomorrow or the next day. You
wow.
have to learn how to be an agile learner, an information gatherer. And we see this a lot with AI because you see people saying, I'm not going to, well, fewer and fewer every day, but I'm not going to use AI. I know how to write this function just fine and I don't need any help. And what ends up happening is that people start to frog leap over those people because they understand you have to imbibe information consistently to stay alive inside of tech.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Sound bites. Me and Gant were talking prior to this, and I was like, I know you're gonna give me some zingers. That you nailed it.
There we
Also,
go. Well, it's
it,
all downhill from there. Let's
it's
go.
all that's it. Yep. I'm stopping the recording. Speaking of that, since I just missaid your name, how often does that happen?
Oh, constantly, constantly. You can't have an ego in leadership, and you definitely should try not to have an ego in tech. It's funny. It's good to have strong opinions lightly held in tech because what you're having, thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you there. Is that when you are you know you're looking at this, there's a lot of people trying to find their way. And I think it's just a little bit of fault tolerance gives
Mm.
you 10 times that amount benefit. So people mess up my name all the time. I ask people, like, sometimes I was giving a keynote for Connect Tech. I was like, oh, hey, when you bring me a stage, can you say this, this, and this? They said none of those things. Doesn't matter. The stage, when you get on it, it's yours. It's your moment. You have to take it. So you can
Whether
wish,
you're Grant or
yeah,
Gant.
whether you're just like, and next this guy, like, that's all. You take what you
I
can get.
once someone called me Steven. Like, that's not even close. I don't know.
Well,
They tried. They tried.
that's fine.
Um, I love the conversation that we're
Yeah,
having. I'd really like to see, as far as from what you think, since, again, it's a controversial take, obviously,
good. Let's do
the
more
whole,
controversial.
yeah,
I'm
no,
ready. I'm
I'm
ready.
digging it. The education. If
Yeah,
you were to direct someone today,
yeah.
like right now, going into 2025 and what the way the tech industry looks, what would be like a path of education that you would suggest for them?
First thing I'd say to anybody, and this advice did not this advice I'm going to give you aged like wine for me. Like, so we went from ice cream to wine. This one is, never hold back on your budget for your own education. If you're
Mm.
between two courses and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick one, and this one looks really good and would help me with my career, and this one looks really good and would really help me with my career. The answer, if you ask Gant or Grant, whoever you get a hold of, is going to be take them both. Don't hold back. I have a rule at this house that if my daughter wants a book, any book, we go to the bookstore, she gets it. There's no book budget. It's all education, because what you're doing there is you're investing in the one huge transferable skill, which is yourself. So, first thing I'd say to anybody who's looking to their education is yes, immediately. Don't not take the course. Don't not watch the YouTube videos. Don't not buy the books. The truth is, we all learn differently.
Mm.
We have some things that work amazing. We have some things that are going to be just a little brick along the way on what we're doing there. The book you didn't read stares you in the face every day and reminds you to watch a YouTube video. That's fine. But the trick is there's a whole bunch of resources. We are in a drowning world of information now. The trick is spend the time, invest in yourself, and make sure that you're putting in real time on education as well. There's real time education where you're putting in a burning, seething focus into actually advancing. And then there's like the gym rat version, which is like the person who went there, they're not actually working out, but they're listening to their entire playlist. And every so often they pick up a 2-pound dumbbell and do this, right? That, don't confuse the two. When you are actually working on your education, you have to heads down work on it. You have to focus on it, and you have to measure your results so that way they're managed.
How do you I love that. How do you decide what is the right thing to look at? Again,
Hmm.
with kind of paralysis by analysis, there's so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
resources, there's so many options. Like,
Yeah,
how
that's
does
true.
one decide?
So the truth is, we're most ignorant at step zero, right? The path that would be the most dangerous that people say is like you have to know where you're going, and I think that's true halfway.
Okay.
But the trick is you're trying to find your own potential and local minima in this wide path. So taking the first step is going to give you guidance on whether to go right or left. You're going to get some more information. The trick is if someone's getting you're like, I've got food on one side, water on the other, and I don't know which one to go to first. I sit here and starve. That's the real danger, is because we all have an excuse not to act. The real thing is, for instance, if you ask me, what is AI going to do in 3 years? I can make some guesses,
Mhm.
okay? But I'm not going to be 100% correct. I will say this with 100% correctness is that the people who are going after it and trying to do something with it today will already be way closer to where it's going to pivot to in the
Mhm.
future. They'll
Mhm.
already be miles and miles closer. Even if it wasn't a direct line, they're still going in the correct directions. So when you're looking for your own education, you're like, do I go into crypto? Do I go into AI? Do I just go ahead and take this workshop? Or like, which one's going to bring the most value? Do I apply to get in like a developer group or something like that, the trick is you really should start getting involved in it. You should really start getting keyed in. And when you're there, you'll say, you know what? I kind of got the bug for this. Yeah, I would love to actually go to this conference and see a little bit more about that. And then you meet somebody from there, like, oh, well, then you're going to love this. And then that network, that connection that you're building, that's going to build you into the path. And, progress is never, ever, ever, ever linear. It's ridiculous to pretend that it is. We're going to have little troughs of mistakes along the way. The trick is you have to keep scrubbing that graph forward.
Wow. I'm making timestamps of parts. I'm like, dang, I
I'm
like
heavily
that.
opinionated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, that's awesome. Well, I mean, since you did say it, what is AI going to do in 3 years?
Woo,
Let's just get right into it. That's always a hot one.
I love it. Well, I think that we need to get people more involved in AI. I think that democratizing AI is a key part in making sure that it goes forward ethically. And so when I talk to people at conferences and I talk to people about different technologies, I want them to know what's possible. And I want them to have a strong opinion on what they want to have come out of it. The trick is if there's a few people making the decisions, we're going to have totally different kind of AI. It'll be more like controlling and difficult. It's like electricity. You can use it for good as just much as you can use it for evil. So what I'd like for AI to do in the future is I'd like for it to grow into culture in a way that makes the quality of life better. Okay. And so what that means is, like, let's say that AI music videos like become a thing, or I type text and I want it to generate the music, I want it to generate the video, and I want it to generate the scene. Then what I want that to have happen is I want that to be a tool that's available in a way where it coincides with like our human desire to be storytellers. I want us to have a lot of fun. I want us to share. I would love, what's funny is I told my business partners I could see a future where you have like a completely AI generated Netflix or something like that. And you get to it, you're like, hey, I don't get enough Christmas rom-coms in my life. So you could almost
literally said no one ever.
If I could just have the Hallmark channel for Halloween. Actually, that's a cool idea. So see, I wanted Hallmark for Halloween, and then I want like to have that show, and I put it out there. Then I'd love to be able to be a creator. But then let's say you don't want to actually create something, but you go there and you say, what are the top 5 creations that are trending today
on the Halloween Mark channel
on just the AI generated content? And then you're like, oh, this is great. And then you give thumbs up. And then me as a creator with assistance with this, this idea, the storytelling, the planning, wouldn't it be cool if you could just say, yeah, I'll shoot. Yeah, that was really good. Thumbs up. And then the movie goes like #1 downloaded today or something like that. I do think that we are going in that kind of direction. But the truth is that going to be something where we can all play together? We can be having fun. We can actually still have the desire for real, produced movies or as well alongside that? Or is it going to be used by a couple of people to put a bunch of people out of work? Right? That's the one we don't want. We don't want terrible stuff coming out that's not fun for everybody, that puts a bunch of people out of work.
Which I think is the biggest fear in the tech industry and the entertainment industry, at least initially. It's this tool came out in this, again, the fear that, everyone's going to lose their jobs.
That happens every so often. It's called Jevons paradox, actually. And we thought it would happen with steam power, that, all the physical labor, people are called Luddites, are based after, when we were doing mechanisms to make, I believe, like quilts and stuff like that. Every time we make some kind of efficiency, people are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs. But the real answer is, as long as we share that and the quality of life is, and this ever drawing energy that we all want to raise together, it ends up actually, weirdly enough, and that's why it's Jevons paradox, it creates more jobs, not fewer.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. So, I mean, as far as AI goes, and you have some experience with it at this point, and you've seen it come into the industry and where it is now, where is it best suited for tech?
I think features. We're not thinking features. We're thinking it's really cool. I tell people this in one of my talks. Do you remember in 2009 when the iPhone came out? There was an app called I'm Rich.
No, what was that?
There's a $9,000 or maybe it was a $999 app. Do you remember that
Mm-hmm.
one? All it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like a red star.
yeah, yeah.
And people bought that actually. The developer of I'm Rich made money. It actually made sales. And it's such a silly idea that we were just impressed that we could do anything. We're just like, oh my goodness. But if you take a look at apps today, it requires entire teams of people. It requires entire coordinations, acceptance criteria, beta testing, accessibility. It's grown into this whole world of, hey, I really want to order some food from my phone. Like now, not only is there competition, but you've got to give me a great user experience or I'm switching, right? And so I love that. I love that. That's where we need to bring AI to that part because it needs to add features that don't suck. And I tell people, if you pretend a chatbot's a person to me, you lose my business. I cannot stand it. I think it's the worst thing possible. If you own up and say, hey, look, we have a person coming in 5 minutes, but hey, I'm the chatbot and I can actually resolve some pretty simple and fundamental issues without sending you to an FAQ. Would you mind having a conversation with me for the next 5 minutes? Feel free to say no. I'd be like, thank goodness they added this chatbot. It's how you add it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think implementation's so important. And I think that's where my aversion is to it, is it's like a lot of companies are just getting into that kind of FOMO feel where they feel like they need to have some sort of AI somewhere, like just getting that buzzword into their technology. And
they grab the two dolls and they go, now kiss, and they slam them together and everybody's like, well done, more money for this CEO. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, well, and I mean that sort of tracks as far as like the good implementations and the bad, like where it's gone wrong. What other, I know this isn't really necessarily tech related, but since we're on AI, like where do you see AI benefiting other industries? Like where could it really be positives?
Yeah.
Because I've talked about that with like Ryan Burgess before.
Yeah.
As far as like even in the film industry where it's not going to steal jobs, but it certainly could complement and make things easier as far as workflows.
Yeah, there's just so many different things. So for instance, the word computer was actually a person's job. The whole word computer was never actually meant to be a machine. It was people who were really good at doing math problems kind of sitting there. It's a really kind of annoying job for most people. And then when you get spreadsheets, there used to be like people who were, you'd have to do all the math problems before spreadsheets, but spreadsheets didn't make math incomplete, didn't get rid of it. What it did is it made things more accessible, right? And so what I see is, to kind of go back to the piece I'm looking at here, is that I think that when we're looking at AI, the jobs that it should take are the jobs we want it to take to make the quality of life better. For instance, let's say you had an AI at a bank and it looked at all the cameras and it had gun detection. Okay. Now, I always say this, in every 90s movie, there was always a security guard with a bunch of monitors and he's just watching the game instead, right? Like we know that movie.
Yep.
It's every movie, right? He's just over there. He doesn't care about the monitors at all. But where you want AI to stop, if it detects a gun, you don't want a computer to go in and handle it. That's a human problem.
Yeah.
That's a thing that we don't want the margin of AI error to take care of. So let's say it's okay for the dude to watch the game. Sit there, watch the game. If this alarm goes off, it's going to snap a picture of the person, of the shot, of the gun, what room it's in, where it was, and say, hey, this looks like this might be an issue. It's for you to review. Feel free to go ahead and either call, we can call for backup, or you can go investigate yourself or decline this, right? It would be amazing. Because then I, as a person, like I'm not given this absolutely terrible, incomprehensible job of looking at all these pieces. there are lots of things that I think AI can take off of our backs. And if we
Yeah.
all sort of kind of agree that we're letting AI take care of a few things here and there and we can kind of be friendly with it, I think it'd be really helpful, you know? And
Yeah.
I would love to have that actually influence our culture. But to a certain degree, we've been scared of AI for 60 years due to science fiction.
Isaac Asimov did it to us.
It's going to take us a little time to go ahead and come in here and find out where to place narrow AI to increase the quality of life. General AI, by the way, is the villain in Terminator 2 and Asimov. It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
not even this close to the same thing. This AI is very different.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not anticipating that Skynet's going to drop on us anytime soon, but I could see where people, again, would have maybe a little bit of apprehension.
Oh, of course. And that's the thing I want people to do. I want people to educate themselves. And like I said, it's like the new electricity. But when electricity was first created for use, they said AC is so dangerous, and they electrocuted elephants to keep people afraid of alternating current and keep
Jeez.
fear, so that they would continue to use DC. And like there's a lot of people manipulating us with AI to this day. Staying ignorant of it doesn't mean that you don't play. It just means you're bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, this goes back to human nature too, of, people need to research. I think the fear's good because people should look into it and check it
Yeah,
out and decide for themselves,
agreed.
Oh, hold on. I have
Oh,
someone stealthing me a snack in right now.
oh, that's
Thank you. It's a
yeah,
peanut butter ball,
me
everyone.
too.
Thanks,
Oh,
babe.
oh, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, look.
thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. Nice. I wish we had planned that where I handed it over on this side. It was a real missed opportunity. We'll do it next time.
Well, you know what? That's for next time.
For next time. So obviously we kind of went down the AI path a little bit, which I
Yeah,
loved. I want to know because man, you just have such a
I have strong opinions about a lot of stuff, man.
no. It's and it's great. You have such a large body of work across
Oh
all
yeah,
different mediums and industries, and I what kind of came first? You obviously do speaking events. You've got the
yeah,
business. You've written and done this and that. So let's go back to what your first
yeah,
tech role was.
yeah. Sounds good. So I was just a tech dude nobody listened to in a city where there was no tech. I was the tech dude building websites for fun at an insurance company because there's just not that much tech here in New Orleans,
Hmm.
at least especially when I was coming up. I was fortunate enough to really invest in my education. And I wrote my first programming book, I think it was 2013 or so.
Wow.
In 2013, I wrote the book, I got involved in open source, and I met people from all over the US. Such a great advantage. But I was still a little bit really internal and scared of interacting with people. I started taking Toastmasters in 2014, and it really helped me come out of my shell, get rid of my fear of public speaking. Next thing I know, I'm speaking in California. Next thing I know, I'm speaking in another place and another one. So I get to um, start to be able to voice some interesting concepts as I'm figuring these things out. And then I find, what's really, really exciting is I found my people. I found Infinite Red, where they were like, hey, you hold yourself back, go. I just started helping them throw conferences, speaking around the world. My fear was completely gone. I wanted to share this connection with everybody, which I was really, really missing. And that started me, I want to say, in 2018, saying I want to start my leadership career. I've talked to
Mm.
people. Now I want to learn how to really talk to people. And in 2018, I bought in to the main core of the company, initiated that process, and been working on it ever since. And I love sharing this sort of feeling and this connection with people, explaining difficult concepts in a really simple context.
Oh,
And
I
it's so
love
much
that.
fun for me.
I
So I
love
do
that.
workshops, we travel, we train people. And that's honestly what consulting is. When you get down to it, we're just glorified teachers.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. You mentioned it where you were kind of apprehensive to all of this, but where were you initially meeting the people in this non-tech city? Like, how did you kind of
I
start
didn't.
that? Were you doing
There was,
meetups, or are you traveling to
no,
conferences?
there was nothing. So initially, there was nothing. There was nothing. There was no meetups. There wasn't
Hmm.
anything. I was just building things, and then people were like, so tech dude here in the South. I was a nerd, but I was a Southern nerd here. So I'd be like, "Hey, y'all want to see this website I built?" And they'd be like, "Shut up! We want to watch the football game." I'm like, "All right, no problem." And then I'd have to. I think that's probably why I was so into security and games back then, because they got
Mm.
attention. It's like, check out this cool game I made, and they were like, "Oh, that's really cool." Or, "Hey, by the way, is this your password?" "Hey, don't do that anymore." That was kind of like my way of doing that stuff. That the world's changed significantly since then. If you show somebody their password, they get a lot angrier now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, it's cool though, because you found a way to solve a problem or get attention to something that people were interested in, and I think
Yeah,
that that's super important in
yeah,
anyone's journey, especially to get traction. Is
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah,
make yourself seen.
yeah.
So you started, what year did you start at Infinite Red?
So Infinite Red, we actually formed from three different businesses.
Hmm.
The company, as its current embodiment, formed in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
that's
So we're
awesome.
coming up on 10 years now. And honestly, what's funny is once we formed, we immediately went all in with React Native. We were before that, we are doing native development and Ruby motion development and stuff like
Wow.
that.
What was the decision behind that?
So back in the day, 10 years ago, essentially, you were starting to see a shift. It used to be, hey, there's an app for that. Then there was, hey, let me build the iPhone app for you for that. And then you started seeing companies say, we have a little bit more budget. We want you to build our iPhone app, and then we want you to build our Android app for us as well. And
Hmm.
so, but we want a discount because we gave you both those
Oh, right.
contracts, right? Like, so we don't care too much if the Android app's really good, but we need to be on both platforms. And if you extrapolate what was happening, it wasn't very difficult to see. We needed a cross-platform solution that was both cost-effective and actually delivered quality work. And when
Mhm.
they promised that with React Native, it was a big promise of potentially a cross-platform kind of way to share some code. I dug into it, came back with like 85% code reuse. I was like, this
Wow.
works.
That's
And
huge.
if we need to go back down to the wire and fix it, we can. I can do everything I need to with this. That today is honestly like 95% code reuse between multiple platforms on React
Wow.
Native.
That's
So
huge.
yeah,
That's
that we
huge.
the business pushed us in nice and early because we were building apps the hard way. We saw the option. We started doing it the smart way, and that's honestly why we're the experts today.
Yeah. We've got some React Native stands here,
Yeah, yeah,
agreeing with you.
yeah, yeah. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It is good stuff, and it's a good community as well. That's a big key part because we came from the Ruby community, which was super nice, and what we had heard about the JavaScript community was like, hold on to your butts. But the React Native community, we helped form that. We helped be a big part in what that is, and it's a super nice community of friendly people.
I love that. And I know that you are a very big proponent of communities and
Yeah,
building them and speaking on their behalf and
yeah,
supporting them. How What would be a couple tips, just right out of the
yeah,
gate, just right off the top of your head, as far as like somebody that's looking for their people?
yeah.
How did you do it?
Well, one of the things that is there is that you have to have a value system that you can specifically state. Okay. And I know that comes back. It sounds to some people like, oh God, he's going to ask for a mission statement and they're going to hang it on the wall and everybody's going to laugh at it. But no, you personally, you already have values. If you don't know what they are, then it's harder to go ahead and find when somebody resonates with them. You have
Hmm.
to spend more time, you have to spend more energy. And then, depending on how attuned you are with your own values, it might take a while for you to actually find it. So, if you're looking to find a community, I think it's important first for you to identify your values. As it people who are kind, which is a great value to have. That's a key one for us. Is it people who are looking to actually have an impact? Because there's lots of places where you can get on like the Huli roof and just cruise on, every day. It's like bring out the axe and play some guitar and cash your checks. If that's what you want, then that's going to bring you a different direction as well. But if you want like people to be reading your books, to read your blog posts, things like that, that's important as well. And then the other thing is, I think that you want to identify those values, whatever they are, write them down, and then evaluate those communities and use that to guide you towards what's going to be the place where you're going to be happiest. You don't have to be perfect at it, and they don't have to be perfect either, because they're not going to be and you're not going to be. But when you know what you're looking for, you can find it.
Yeah. Yes. There's another one. Soundbite. Soundbite.
You make me, I'm a little embarrassed, but I kind of love it. I need you to follow me around. Like, let's go get some Indian
just
food.
Yeah, soundbite.
Let's go, man.
Soundbite. No, I love that you said that, because obviously you and I met at a community event. We met at Render, shared some amazing Indian food, by the way. I've been talking about it all day. What was the name of the place?
Blue India.
It is. Yes, that's what I said. Okay, I'm pretty happy that I remembered that.
Yeah.
But I was at Commit Your Code this past week.
That's awesome. I
Danny
saw the
Thompson's
pictures.
conference. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But what I was kind of mulling over in my head is like, anybody can be a part of a community, because the weaknesses they bring to the table are strengths someone else has.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like such a great part of community, is like your strengths are going to be somebody else's weakness, but all of those together balance out and create something. So
it's such an age-old lesson that the people are afraid of. It's actually the inverse of imposter syndrome. Because if you think about it, most people, and to this day, I'll tell you this, I've presented at hundreds of conferences. I still get imposter syndrome in weird ways that I have to suss out and go, that's what that was. Most recently, I went to Poland, and I saw everybody had really cool graphs in their slides. And I was like, oh, I don't have any graphs. I started getting more and more nervous. And then I was like, you don't have any graphs because you didn't have any graphs, Gant. What are you doing? Like, there's no graph. You don't have to have a graph. So I started my conference talk with a graph, and it says average number of graphs in talks, 8. Number of graphs in this talk, 1, and this is it.
That's awesome.
And so, but there was a moment there where it got me, it got me a little bit. And so, so the imposter syndrome that we all have, the inverse of that, once you know what it is that you are someone else, you're part of someone else's imposter syndrome, which means that you have a strength that the community really could use. That's the good way of looking at imposter syndrome.
Wow.
Soundbite.
Andrew, we are on Twitter, LinkedIn. I think it's on the Torque YouTube as well. But LinkedIn is the jam, and Twitch. But great to see everybody in the chat. Gant, that was amazing. I'm wondering, let's see, where do we go as far as that? Oh, you said something and it made me think of Toastmasters. Because I think, how does one break through? Like, what are some of the steps that you would suggest for people as far as kind of dealing with that opposite imposter syndrome? Like, what are some steps to sort of mitigate that? And then maybe, again, take that next step and present or talk?
Well, one of the things that's really important to identify is whether or not you're going to go into fight or flight. And the trick is, it's really hard to self-diagnose if you're going into fight or flight. You can't be like, wow, my pupils are dilated, I'm looking around. You can't. But you might notice shortness of breath, inclination not to talk, difficulty focusing, pangs of anxiety. We know what those feel like, things like that. So if you're feeling those particular things in a particular conversation, or before you go on stage or anything like that, you're going through fight or flight, and that's going to really limit your connection. And that's why we go to events or we go around other people. It's what we're seeking. Our minds are significantly involved to seek connection with each other. And if you are trapped in a prison in your mind through fight or flight, you're going to kick yourself a little bit. You're going to feel bad. You're not going to really, really enrich your connection with that. The trick is, if you could self-diagnose that or see it coming along, One of the things that you can do is take a deep breath. Just remember that people want to hear you. They want you to succeed. They want to hear what you have to say. We're not. I think reality shows screwed people up a little bit because we enjoyed watching people fail, and then
Mm,
when we put ourselves out there, that's what replays in our mind. It's like people are going to enjoy that. I want to tell you this: when you're in person, or when you're in a small group, or when you're on stage in front of even 1,000 people, all the people in that room are giving you their attention under the absolute hope that it will be worth it to them. They want you to succeed. And so when you're talking with people in tech and you're talking in smaller groups or even bigger than that, the key part is everybody wants that connection from you. And it's just you holding it back from them. So if you remember that you want to connect with them, your body starts to release oxytocin, which helps you bring your blood pressure back down and helps you reset that fight or flight response so that you can actually interact with people all the time. And people who are advanced at this, if you're listening to this and you go, hey, I don't get scared in crowds. Well, guess what? It's your job now to find that other person who looks like they're scared and make sure that they feel okay. And when they're okay, they bring their part of the conversation in, and it's that much the gumbo, as it is here in the South, the gumbo is that much richer. We got more ingredients.
oh man, it's got all God soundbite. Oh
You're
wow.
killing me, man.
You're killing me. This is instead of like little like 1 to 2 minute clips, it's literally just going to be a 42-minute clip because it's all just too good. I'll just cut myself out.
I love having these conversations. Like we had really good conversations when we were eating in Atlanta and all that stuff. Yeah, I enjoy this stuff, talking to people online as well. It's part of the reason why I think people should always, if you can get your company to pay for it, get them to pay for it, go to a conference. It's definitely worth it for you. And sometimes, my rule about education and networking connection, like sometimes if they won't pay for it for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Invest.
Yeah, you got to make it a priority. I mean, and again, just sort of reflecting on that and then thinking about Atlanta,
Mhm.
that was my first tech conference ever. And
Oh,
I
wow.
can't say that I didn't have nerves, like
Yeah.
that I wasn't nervous, but I'm
It's
also
everybody.
pretty right. So even the people that are like, I don't get nervous, you do
It,
to some extent. There's no way. There's no way.
yeah, it doesn't go away. There's a saying, and I'm not going to take credit for this. The butterflies in your stomach, you don't kill them. You never kill them. You just teach them to fly in formation.
Mm,
And the trick is like when you can get ahead of it and you can manage yourself and you know what's going on, then you can actually use that. People talk about stage health. It's honestly, I'm an introvert. I am an introvert, but when I get around people, that sort of like that connection that
mhm.
makes me go. And then what ends up happening is the battery runs out. That's how I know I'm an introvert because I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, and they're like, Kent, you're such an extrovert. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And then like my body goes, you're done socializing. I'm like, all right, bye.
No, Taylor and I are very similar in that sense. And I think a lot of people just, again, because of how we sort of turn it on,
Yeah,
assume, oh, this person's an extrovert.
right.
But
Yeah,
the thing that I noticed after, especially after like I left the film industry and the pandemic happened and I wasn't required to turn it on anymore,
yeah,
that I see like, you know
yeah,
what, I am not, that is not me at all. So
yeah,
I prefer quiet time and tea, but I understand also that it's a necessity and it benefits the people around us,
mhm,
a Gant or myself. We can help navigate for some of the other people that don't have it, the
yeah,
ability and help
yeah.
them through certain things. And I think that that's important. But
I
back
love
to what you
that.
were saying too, as far as like attending conferences and just being there and taking advantage of the situations, like you and I never would have met. Like,
Exactly, exactly. I kind of suck at Twitter, to be honest. I'm trying better. I'm trying to like reinvent myself a little bit on Blue Sky,
mhm,
because it's got way more of the people I currently talk to. I'm like rebuilding that entire domain. It feels like old Twitter was. I don't see any ads, things like that. But even with that, it's really hard to sit down, have a cup of tea. Maybe I pull out my guitar and then just be sitting there and go, you know what I need? I need to go on the internet and see what other people think. It's like, it's really difficult.
That's like the
So like,
last thing I would want to do.
but if we're at a conference and I'm sitting there, if there's a guitar, a cup of tea, or some Indian food or something like that, we're forming lifelong bonds. And I just, that's so natural, so easy for me to do. I like that a lot better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, obviously it's a little utilitarian for me at this point to be on the socials and doing the engagement for work.
Yeah,
It's part of the job, but
it's part of it.
I do love being in the mix and being
Yeah,
at those things and connecting other people. And I think
I
once you
appreciate that.
know, yeah, once you know your strengths that you bring to the community, then you
Yeah.
can help bring other people up, kind of like what you were saying earlier. So
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate that you take the time and energy to put on things like this, right? But it means the world to me that people take the time to put podcasts in place and get the messages set, because this gives me the opportunity to have a chat like you and I would totally do if you came by. If you were in
yeah, yeah,
town, we'd be having the same exact chat, but you probably would be like, "Man, I wish we recorded that," or something at one point.
right,
Right?
right.
But now we
That's
just get
true.
to do it for real. Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not selfish about information, right?
Right.
So it's like the little gems and everything that you are saying, and obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not joking about the sound bites. Like,
I
they're
appreciate
great. I want to make sure that other people can experience those, and that was always something that I wanted to be able to provide for people when I got to where I wanted to go. Like at my levels, is
Yeah.
bring everybody up or give everybody opportunities, and that's why like the building in public, learning in public, doing
Yeah.
those things on your journey is so important
Yeah.
too. Um, what would you? I mean, we've kind of talked about like easing into doing community type stuff, but as
Yeah.
far as like again, people learning and growing, what are some steps or like tips for that to put yourself out there
Yeah.
and build in public?
I have advice for that. And the trick for me is this. I had a condition that I don't know the word for in school, where I had to care in order to do things. And if a teacher told me, you have to know this because it's on the test, it killed it. It killed it for me.
Yeah.
Because there's just an emptiness, right? I was a practical person through and through. I think that's also what carried me through to consulting. It's very practical, it's way less theoretical. I like to actually mix the two together to get the maximum effect. And I think I see this in everybody. For me, it was important to absolutely grab. But if you're passionate about building something, you have to go ahead and let it take you. Ride the wave, feed the muse, like take lessons. If you take a look at how Stephen King actually writes novels, this guy is extremely prolific. He tries to put down 1,000 words a day, but he
Wow.
pumps out novels in a matter of months, right? But what's funny is he said, if he doesn't get that done, like if he doesn't let that happen and get to the end of it, it starts to, like, the fire starts to die. Like he's not interested. And if he leaves it for a little while and tries to come back, then it's almost like 2-3 times harder to reinitialize that sort of momentum that he
Mm,
needs. And I find that that's true for a lot of people, especially for me. But I find that if you care and you have a passion project, you don't care what technologies you have to learn in order to accomplish it. You can absolutely, somebody says, "Hey, sorry, we need to run this on AWS with this new protocol," or you know what, the best way to do that is going to be with GraphQL. You're like, "I haven't done that before," but you're going to implement it instantly. And I'm going to give a kudos to our CTO at Infinite Red. Jamin has gone into learning how to build a game in Godot.
oh, I've seen his posts. I've seen
Yeah.
his posts. Wow.
And let me tell you, it's a passion project for him. The things that he is solving and the open source that is coming out of sort of like just the way he does things, just the problems that he's solving, just the interesting pieces that he's making here, it's because he wants to create this thing, and nothing's going to stop him. No technology barrier, not having read the right book. He'll read the books, learn about the things, and make the connections in order to build the passion project. And if you can put that in front of you, it doesn't matter, whether you're comfortable in C++ because there's this one piece of a project that might require you to do a little bit of that. That's just going to be something that you're going to solve because you want to get to that finish line.
Mm.
So passion first projects are really good at making you actually deliver things. And when you feel that burn, ride the wave, because if you get off of it and you try to come back, it's really hard. It's
Oof.
really hard to come back to it.
Momentum's everything, right?
Yeah.
The Newton's law of physics, objects in motion stay
Yeah.
that way. What makes you so passionate about what you're doing and continuing it?
That's a great question. The key parts I like personally is that I do have this need to connect deep down inside. Back to Gant, back when I was a kid, building a game and trying to show it to people and having them care about it. To this day, I write a book. I need people to read it. If I do a course or if I do something else, I need people to actually pay attention. If I go to give a talk, I can tell you this: I need to do all the work to market it, because I want that room to be full. Right? I want people to really care about it, and it makes me work harder at it. My talk titles at conferences could be boring and simple and goofy, but they've got to be the right mixture to get people to say, I want to hear what he has to say. At the end of it, when someone comes up to me and says, I really liked your keynote, or I really liked your workshop, or I really liked your talk, it means the world to me. Not that I need external sort of like validation, but I do want to have that connection and them confirming like the acknowledgement that has been received means that I'm successful.
Well, I mean, that's typically a question that I ask toward the end, is what success looks like to you. But since you're kind of answering it, that's ultimately that is it. So
you want an ideal workflow that connects you through to get to the spirit of what it is that you wanted to achieve. It's never going to be exactly like you penned in the beginning, but it needs to actually follow the spirit of what it is that you wanted.
Nice. I like that. We've got a couple minutes here, and again, I just want to thank you for hanging out with us.
Happy to.
So looking back and then looking forward and sitting in the moment now, where do you think you're on your path? And if you're not, what are you going to change?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I am on my path. I really do. I'm very happy with the position I have at Infinite Red. I've been offered quite a few jobs at much larger companies, and I don't want to work for them. I think that where I am, I have great business partners, Todd Worth and Jamin Holmgren. I really still feel like the one thing that limits me is me. The company doesn't hold me back. They actually encourage me to go out and figure out how to do something more. And I think that on my path going forward is for me to figure out those things. How can I resonate even more? How can I connect with people even more? And I think that, when I look out there, there's some people that really know what they're doing. I have something to learn from each of them. Maybe not one person who has all the skills, but there's a lot of skills out there that I would love to be great at, and I've got the rest of my life to figure it out.
There you go. I like that. What crap, I totally just forgot the question I was about to ask you.
The answer was blue.
It was not at all blue. I do remember what it was. So
okay.
And again, usually I go with a success question at the end, but you kind of nailed that already.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pivot a little bit, and we're coming up on the end of 2024.
Yeah.
Did you get to where you wanted to go, and what's ahead in 2025?
I love this style of question. So I have been figuring out how to add some atomic habits of things that I really want. I play guitar every day. I practice Spanish every day. All right. If anybody wants to speak really terrible Spanish with me, hit me up on either Blue Sky or something like that. And send
Roxy's down there. She's ready to go with that.
Yeah. It's real. My Spanish is terrible, but I've been doing it now every single day. actually trick people into thinking that I know Spanish until they start going really fast and I just start drooling.
Does it remind you of that scene from Billy Madison where he's learning Spanish? You're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Uh, yeah. That's exactly what's happening. But I'm okay with it because you gotta get outside your comfort zone. That's where the growth is going to be. So I'm
mhm.
there and I'm trying to figure that out. My next year, I want to work more on my leadership skills. I want to work more on how to do a healthy work-life balance, which is really something that I've thought I was pretty good at, but sometimes the door gets kicked down a little bit, and then I come back 3 weeks later. I'm like, what happened? So I do want to work on that. And then I think another key part here is that I'm really excited about maybe taking a little bit more into health and wellness and trying to make sure that I'm good with that as well. Because the truth is, we sit for a living, right? And I think sitting's the new smoking. So that's why I'm at a standing desk right now. I
Nice.
gotta kind of like take care of it because this gray beard comes with not being able to focus as long and when you're
Sure.
sitting.
No, that makes sense. When we were just in Mexico at a conference down there, me and the videographer that we bring with us, he says the most random shit sometimes. Like I don't even know where this came from, but he's like, why the human has such a large butt, right? Like muscle wise,
Yeah,
because they were designed for standing and moving, like they're
yeah,
strengthened muscles for that function, but
yeah.
they've as humans evolved into seated animals now so frequently,
Mhm.
like it's literally changed the physiology of our bodies. So, but that's
Yeah,
originally what we were doing.
yeah, yeah. I like standing. I like going after stuff. So I think that that's key. What about like? Did anybody get to ask you this? Like, what are you looking at for 2025?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gant, I obviously got the first role. 2024 was
Yeah,
the goal, was a job. We're
yeah,
there. We
yep,
got that, so that's cool. Um, I think again, it's just growing community.
yeah.
I would love to do some more talks.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah,
I have put some CFPs in because I think, and you touched on it earlier, like everybody in a community has something to bring.
yep,
And my journey is different than yours, is different
yeah,
than Nick's and Vlad's and Roxy and Matt's and everybody else that's here.
yeah.
So we all have something that we can share. And I want to do that.
I love it. I love it.
And then I want to go on vacation. Like I haven't been on a vacation in years. So
Really?
no.
Oh man, you got to take care of yourself. Yeah.
I know. And the thing is, even since I started working, been trying to be more cognizant of like getting up and moving and running. I used to run all the time, and I've had to cut back so much because I'm trying to focus on work and like proving that I can do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the last bit I'll say here is that proving that you can do it might be a little bit of your own imposter syndrome. I see
oh
that a
yeah,
lot. Sometimes people give their first talk and they just hit you with facts. They hit you. And when that happens, I go to myself and say, this person was afraid that somebody said they couldn't do this.
mm,
And that's why they had to prove all these things.
yeah.
You
The
know?
only person that said I couldn't was me. Um,
Yeah, it's the most
you know,
dangerous person. Yeah.
it really is. But
Yeah.
I did that too. So it's like
Yeah.
I got the first one, well, two technically, because I spoke at Render at a meetup
Yeah.
in front of a ton of people, and that was, I talk about panic attacks. Holy shit! But
If
but
anybody ever gets to a conference and they want to get some like prep talk or anything like that before they do a conference, they can definitely DM me, message me. I'm happy to help people with that. And like I think helping people really helps ourselves because like now, by the way, you have to tell me when you go running because if you go running or you take a vacation, I want an update from you
oh yeah,
on how you're doing with that because and it gives us an excuse to reach out and connect again. So now
no, I
I'm putting
like
it on
it.
you. Tell me when you do those things.
I was just telling everybody because I did a stream, like a work stream earlier, and I was like, yeah, I was texting with Gant while I was in
Yeah.
Taylor's talk.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Except for this screenshot, I
yeah,
loved it. That's good.
which he did have do not disturb on, by the way,
Oh,
so it wouldn't have worked.
all right. Well, we
There's
tried.
always next time.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to plug that's upcoming?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, You can always find a lot of talks that I have. I have some that are in the maybes as well, some that are in the definites. I put them on gantlaborde.com. If you, but honestly, my conversation's ongoing. So you can go to gantlaborde.com, see upcoming things that are happening. But I would say don't use that as an excuse to reach out and talk to me. Just message me.
No.
And then if anybody needs anything answered on AI or specifically React Native, because like I said, been doing it since it came out, message me as well. Happy to help you out.
Everybody go. I'm putting it down in the banners here. It's literally the one link you did not send me to put up, by the way, so I had to get it. But there's the site. Go connect with Gant. Tell him you heard him dropping gems on the Tech Commute today, and that's it. And then we will be back on Friday for the Wins and Struggle Bus stream, and maybe Gant will come in and say that this was his win.
Yeah. Hey, definitely. Let's connect up on that. That sounds good.
Absolutely. We will see you soon. I'll talk to you backstage, so don't hang up. Oh no, he did it. See, hashtag no bites. All right. Bye everybody. We'll see you Friday.
Pleasure seeing everybody.